Okay, folks, welcome back. Hopefully it's not as glitchy as it was the last time I was on. If it is, well, nothing I can do about it. That's just the way it's going to be. So, this morning we're working on the next build off camera. I figured nobody'd be on in the morning anyways. Not until the last little bit. And this is the one we decided to work on next. And we're gonna have to spank you because you're not the super glue is not sticking to this thing for whatever reason. But yeah, so this is a little basketball looking torque twister, I think is what this thing is called. Torque twister. Yeah. So it's going to have a ram on it. This is, for right now, it's going to be called the Slam Dunk. I don't know that that's going to be the final name for it. But it's going to have a front ram, a mortar, oil slick that we're trying to get this to glue back there, but it isn't working. And, you know, it's nothing but net. That's really what you should call this thing, nothing but net. It's got 2 nets. And the crowd pleaser perk. And for some reason, this thing is wobbly. I think one of these tires got stuck, or wheels got stuck a little high. It's not too bad, but it's just annoying. I don't want. Yeah, it's not bad. Anyhow, you go drive that to part of town where they take the wheels off. Now, how are you going to move? All right, how are you going to move now? All right, so this is going to have to be either epoxied or hot glue gun or something. Let's fire up the hot glue gun and see if that will do it. May end up having to do epoxy. And the mortar is not a turreted mortar. So I did not want to take this turreted looking mortar that comes with this. It's like almost like a little round base. And I've cut the corners off and I'm trying to sand that down, but I made a hell of a mess. Made a lot of powder. So we're gonna try to get this back down to nothing. And we're gonna use a mask. We don't want to breathe this in. And you guys should, the problem is I can't freaking see with the this. Frosting. Okay, here we go. I try to use wet dry sandpaper. Yeah, that'd take about 3 weeks with this material. I see it's turning into like really fine powder. It's really fine. If I want to do like 1/72nd scale cocaine, this might be a good choice. And it's not as loud for you guys either. I hate round things. They always roll. Alright, we gotta do the rest of it by hand. Alright. What we want to do is actually remove this round thing and just have it just the actual mortar itself. Okay, so having it on a big round platform screams, hey, this is turreted, and it's not, you know? Getting close here. Wafer thin, sir. Yes, wafer thin. Okay, I think we got this where we want it. I think we got this where we want it. All right, let's take this to the bottom where we got some glue there. Super glue. And I'm actually going to glue this. I'm going to put it like so. To try to not have it on the basketball. Or maybe even like there. I'm going to end up having to use epoxy, aren't I? I mean, that's on there pretty well. I think that if I do this, it's just not going to do anything to it. And it's this tire, it's a little high. It's just gonna have to be that way. Oh really? You're not gonna glue it all? Okay. Well, how's this doing back here? Let's just mix up some epoxy and just be done with it. Enough dribbling. Okay. Where are the two epoxies? One of these is just a disaster. I can't remember which one it is. What are the two parts? It's this one, isn't it? This stuff's normally pretty good, but for whatever reason, this one decided to dry out on me. I've only had bad experiences with epoxy, with the syringe. That syringe system just doesn't work. let's see. Let's try to glue that like so. The last time I used this epoxy, I didn't think it was going to take hold, but it did. Take hold epoxy. Oh shit, this thing's shifting on me. Man, we gotta babysit everything at home too. I should have enough there to grab on. All right. Let's go ahead and close this up while we're at it. Yeah, I figured I'd have an opportunity to get on here for a little bit, but if I picked the wrong time, well, I guess I picked the wrong time. All right, we'll have to wait for that to dry out a little bit, but you know, temporarily, that's what we're going to be calling this thing is Slam Dunk. Although it's not very racy. So we may change that into something a little bit more exciting before we're done. All right, and I'd like to knock out these vehicles that are here, if possible. If possible. There's a variety of different things here. These are ones that already came, with the exception of one of them. They all were not in a package. This one was also not in a package. Well, that one wasn't. Okay, so there's a few that were in packages. A few of them were in packages. Okay. Well, this is what I'd like to do. It's a Wonder Woman car. And I would like to, you know, make it like a Wonder Person or, you know, something or another. But the funny thing is this is actually almost corroded a little wet. Yeah, this is they left this thing out in the elements. Left that thing out in the elements. And I'm enjoying hopping around and doing different vehicles. I can't do the rabbit truck. I don't really have anything to go on back there other than rockets. This guy right here, that is a, you know, we'll call him Sand Flea for now. I don't know that that's the official name that we want for it. But I don't think I'm gonna do a damn thing to this thing. It already comes with a couple of machine guns. Yeah, it's already going to be a buggy, and it's going to have a heavy machine gun and a regular machine gun, both firing forward. Let's build this thing, okay? And we're going to call this thing Sand Flea for now. So it's going to be a buggy. A buggy is 6 points and it has 2 build slots. One of the build slots is going to be HMG forward. The other one is going to be an MG forward because they're different. This is going to cost 2 points. This is going to cost 3. This is a really low numbered vehicle. You could possibly even have this a 13 pointer. We're only at 11. It's kind of long, but it's not very wide, so maybe that could be the justification of, no, it really is supposed to be a 13 or a 14 point vehicle. Man, it's just not wanting to go in those holes. Make that a little bit bigger. Oh, you know what? One thing I never take into account, that this is a little thicker here because we added hot glue. So this is thicker. And then this is thicker also. So what we need to do is we need to take this and let's just remove that off of it. And likewise here. And the same back here. And here. Yeah, the tolerances inside these die-cast vehicles are pretty tight. Some of the first ones I did, I added like mesh to them, and just the thickness of the mesh, like screen from a screen room repair kit, was thick enough and displaced it enough that it wouldn't close back up. Crazy. Crazy! Now we're good on the back, but for some reason there's something uppity happening up here. See if this helps. We're probably not going to do a show tomorrow night. And remember, we're not going to have anything on Friday because I'm going to be out of town. Or Saturday morning either. Okay, well we're going to prime this black before we go and close this thing up. Okay, that's these two machine guns right here. Let's get some of the primer. Let's put the glue land out of here. I don't know what that's supposed to be. It looks like a Burning Man. Like everybody do a wave, like the fire with a sand wave. Well, it looks like. Anybody do the sand wave? What is this one called, anyways? Doesn't say. Well, we'll look that up in a second. Well, let's see what this code on the bottom of this thing tells us. Okay, it is a Hot Wheels T9606. See what we got here. Enforcer. Enforcer is an armed buggy intended for military usage. Oh man, it's got some missiles and shit back here. Mine didn't come with all that cool stuff. Well, we can't have any more weapons. That looks really good. From 1982. Enforcer is an armed buggy intended for military usage. This casting was originally released as a tie-in with the poorly received 1982 movie Megaforce, directed by Hal Needham. That's actually, I've never seen that movie, but I have heard it's one of the worst movies ever made. If it's the one I'm thinking of. The casting portrayed the Mega Destroyer as featured in the movie. The Mega Destroyer props used in the film were custom built by Fredericks Inc. using assembly line construction techniques. The chassis was sourced from the San Fernando Buggy Center. The engines were Volkswagen Flat 4s, sourced from Bergman Inc., and the transaxle from Transaxle Engineering. For armament, the Mega Destroyers featured laser cannons and rocket launchers which actually fired working solid fuel rockets. The laser cannons worked through spark plugs, igniting a flammable mixture to create the illusion of them firing, with electronics used to move the gun barrels. The laser beams were added into the movie in post. It's got a lot to say about this. Okay, so I'm looking at the green, tan, and brown camouflage. I'm looking for window color. One that's window color orange. Oh, the toy number. What did we say it was? 9606. I don't see it here. Let's do it in images. Here it is. 1982. Rare 1982 Hot Wheels tank gun sparkle green dune car. Yeah, this is it right here. Battle truck is New Zealand's take on Mad Max. Well, the Kiwis and the Aussies can't get along, right? No, I was working on this guy right here. This is the basketball car. And we had to pull out the epoxy because it did not want to... Okay, we're good now. Did not want to glue. We're going to call this Slammed Dunk for now. I think I can come up with something a little bit more creative. But it's got a ram, a mortar, oil slick, crowd pleaser perk. Where's the other thing about it? Steel nets. 2 sets of steel nets. Obviously, nothing but net. That could be a name. That could be a name for it, but nothing but nets. But yeah. Not aggressive enough. So I was waiting for that to dry. Man, I don't know how long I'm gonna make it. I'm dying over here of sleep. I'm dying of sleep. And it's funny because I got more sleep last night and the previous night than I had in a long time. Okay, we should be able to close this guy up. Call this thing Sand Flea for now. I don't know if it's going to stick, but it looks pretty good. I don't know what this human wave, everybody do the sand wave. It's like some kind of Burning Man thing. Not that I know anything about that. I don't. There's too much drugs in that for me to know anything about it. Well, not professional, but college. Yeah, somebody said, "Hey, you want to go with us?" And we're like, if we don't take them up on it, we don't get an opportunity to do that very often. So yeah, we went. Yep, got back about 9 and change. It was just too late to do anything other than that. So I woke up this morning and I took one of these mortars, and I wanted to not leave it on the little round platform because it makes it sound like makes it look like it's turreted, and it's not. I don't have the points for this thing to be turreted. So this is just a straight mortar round. Good thundery evening. You guys in your spell corrects. I wouldn't put up with that. So I won't be on tomorrow evening, probably, because I got to pack. I'm going out of town. I'll be back on Saturday, but I won't be back on Saturday morning, so there won't be any Friday shows or Saturday morning shows. Hopefully when I get back, we can do a, hey, this is what I got kind of stuff. I'm just going to used places, so. And I kind of don't want to find anything. And I can also just say, I'm not going to go buy them, but that's kind of a wasted trip not to do that. But how about I be really picky and I don't pick? You have thunderstorms. What are those like? We haven't had rain, and we need rain badly. This whole state is burning. Yeah, the weather last night for being outside was perfect. And I mean, they're freaking awesome seats. So it's like, I don't want to pass up on that. It's not like I get to do that every. Okay, where's the tweezers? Here we go. Not like I get to do that every week or every month or something like that. You just got a crazy amount of rain. Hoarder! We're not due to have any in the foreseeable future. We don't get any rain. These people are going to kill each other on the Facebook posts. You really shouldn't be mowing your lawn because a spark could set off something. Yeah, you need to plant like a lawn, the natural lawn, so you don't even water it and stuff like that. Just a bunch of people on the local thing just come blows. I don't even comment on that. I'm just like, holy shit. How freaking, what a waste of time. Must be unemployed or something. People that just get into conflicts with posts on Facebook. You don't even know each other. Yeah, this will look infinitely better just when we prime it black, because then you eliminate another whole series of colors that just don't go with anything else. Oh yeah, we haven't had rain, and this is the driest I've ever seen it. So we didn't get any hurricanes last year, so we're behind on water, or no hurricanes that even came by. We're behind on water, and yeah, I got some boots for work like last March that are waterproof. I didn't get the chance to try them out once. So it didn't rain. It hasn't rained at all, like of any note, in over a year. I mean, it's rained, but it's just nothing significant, and certainly not in 2026. But it's still getting into like the 50s at night. It's still cooling down. It's not like it's oppressively hot, but it is oppressively dry. But May will probably roll around somewhere around my daughter's birthday. It always rains like cats and dogs around that time period. And I'm sure. But there's parts of Florida where it's raining. It's just not raining around this area. North Central. See what else happened. Anything else happened exciting? Not really. Nothing worth talking about. You're going to Austin this weekend, but I don't think I'll be able to go anywhere cool. Well, why even go? Austin's like the leftiest city in Texas, isn't it? That's where they got the transgender cowboys. What do they call the music? Do they call it country western, or they just call it western, or they just call it country? Well, I bet it's hard to get away from that there. It's not like California. California is just crazy. You know, you gotta have some balance, but man, it's just freaking crazy. But we got crazy people here in the other town, in the college town. And I'm talking about the crazy people that'll be like, you need to like not have a lawn at all. And I'm like, I don't water my lawn because luckily whoever planted, they never put any lawn here. So it's just whatever's here, right? So we're cool. So this chick went on a rampage about like how nobody needed to, keyboard commander, like nobody needed to build it, put any special lawns, or you just need to have the native plants and all that, and made like a big deal like she was gonna save the planet all herself. And her profile picture, she's got these armpit hair. You could probably like make dreadlocks out of it. I'm like, you know, you play both types of music, country and western. We like you play it. You're a player. I don't know. I just there's some instruments that I just don't really care for. Okay, there's regardless of anything else, it's just some instruments that make a sound that are just something I don't want to listen to. You know, like kazoo. You don't want to listen to a kazoo. I don't like a banjo, and I don't like the fiddle. I mean, it's just, but that's just me personal. You know, that doesn't mean I like anything that's not. I think I said it one time. I kind of had an epiphany. I'm like, if you took the lyrics out of country music and rap, some of the rap would be okay. Maybe, I don't know. They always have They always have like speaking. All right, just shut up and play the music. All right, let me listen to it. Blues Brothers quote. I've only seen Blues Brothers one time, and it was I was little. Oh, that movie you've seen, but did you finally get around to seeing all the Bond movies or a Bond movie? It's probably too late for you at this point. The damage has been done. The damage has been done. You can't see Bond movies anymore. You know? So supposedly that's what happened with Star Wars with my brother. My brother never watched it, and his best friend is like a huge Star Wars. I mean, like a fucking huge Star Wars fan. And my brother can't. My brother's like, he's like, no, I like Star Trek better. I just thought just to be a contrarian, but he's like, yeah, it's just like Muppets or something like that. So you can't watch it as an adult, you know. Gotta watch it as a kid, and then you're like, yeah, there's some things that are ridiculous, but you can still appreciate some of it. It's not like I'm a big Star Wars fan or anything, but yeah, he waited too long to see it. Bond movies, you gotta watch them in order. I've been jamming to the Europa Barbarorum soundtrack. Well, that's some good stuff right there. I have no idea. So I think that they claim that they use, real instruments. I think I listened to the Rome Total War, the first one. The soundtrack is awesome. It's freaking awesome, you know. It is great. I even ran a tournament with that playing in the background. The first tournament I ran had that. Now, who's this weirdo playing it? I had a little CD player. My wife had a CD player, and I confiscated it. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna borrow this for the weekend. And play that. They got some, elephantitis type music. Got some music with it. Elephants are just kind of, You're a Red Dwarf fan. Never, can't say I've ever seen it. Isn't that like the original Firefly? All right, this is not a real vehicle, so I get to pick how the lights go. Ooh, power trip. Where's the Europa Barbarorum soundtrack? Europa Barbarorum 2. Oh, there's a second one? I don't care which one of those games you play, they're hokey. And here's the reason why. Because if you say, okay, let me play Europa Barbarorum, and it's probably the one that I played. I bet Europa Barbarorum 2 is for Rome 2, isn't it? But anyways, for the Rome 1, I played Europa Barbarorum, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to play my boy Pyrrhus. And Pyrrhus's army is, it's almost like the same as like a DBA army. There's about, you can have like 8 to 14 elements or something like that. One of the companions, and like some light cavalry, and then one unit of the elephants with towers, and then some phalangites and some other type of things on there as well. But you start the game with no infrastructure. So you're basically like, you have this great army, and you've got nothing to support it. So if you take any casualties at all, you can't replace them. So basically what you have to do is you need to go out and conquer and pillage shit. And then use it to build up the infrastructure so that when you do take some casualties, you can replace them. Like the elephants basically don't get touched. You got to save the elephants, and you got to put them in a situation where they're not going to take any casualties, kind of thing, because you can't replace them. Europa Barbarorum is for Medieval 2 Total War. I never played the first Medieval. But the Medieval 2 I did. I didn't know that Europa Barbarorum is in medieval times. Well, what did they add? Well, I guess I should look it up. That's the problem with those Total War games. Like, I won the game with Spain, the Medieval Total War 2, and I just didn't have much of an interest to play any other nations. It just ended up being like a whole bunch of the... And I'm normally not that way. Like, if I play something like, I don't know, like Diablo, I play all the characters all the way through. I might have favorites, but Europa Barbarorum 2. Factions. There's a wiki on it, okay? Oh, it looks like it's the same. It's still early. It's just, it must be the engine of, wait a second, Europa Barbarorum 2 map. You sure it's not for the Rome one? Hmm? Release date 2014. Holy shit. No, it's a modification from Medieval 2 Kingdoms Total War. It features a map spanning, in modern terms, from Ireland and Portugal to Pakistan and Xinjiang. It's twice as big as the original RTW map and features 24 playable factions. I never could get into the Attila one. I tried, but it was like, I got it too late. It had already been out for a while. You played the game for over a decade. Well, I just found out about it this evening. The second one. The first one took forever to load. You were on that loading screen a long time. A long ass time. But that wasn't with this computer. That was with, some computer I had in 2010 or whatever the hell it was. But the battles, honestly, are too easy. I mean, I've pulled things out of my ass that I shouldn't have. Well, like a light bulb? No, just I've won battles that wasn't even close. All right, well, the wheels are going to be golden. Golden wheels. And the front of this will be that, 10 bits color. I think this is dry. Yeah, we can go ahead and do that. You're waiting to hear back on a test I took for the best side hustle of your life. Find one for me painting figures. Nah, I don't pay enough. I don't work for cheap. You can take that shit to China or India or whatever. What was that one guy was painting Sri Lanka. One guy painting stuff in Sri Lanka, like Fernando Enterprises or whatever. It's like, yeah, I'm not. I've even suggested, hey, pay me my salary at a discount and I'll be your painting bitch. Side hustle's got to be something you don't mind doing. Like, you're going to do it anyways, you might as well get paid for it kind of thing. Well, I'm going to do it anyways, might as well give me some money. It's drawing and the pay is really good. Man, I don't draw anymore. I mean, if I kept drawing, I don't, my dad was the one that was really good at drawing. I was decent. My brother supposedly says he can't draw. My dad was fucking excellent drawer. Dad, draw me we'd be like at a restaurant when I was a kid. Dad, draw me a shark. And he'd get a napkin out and draw a shark. And like, freaking good. I don't really give much credit people that are able to do like, the electronic drawing, tablet and stuff like that. Cause like, there's like no risk. Like you just can go back multiple steps if things go sideways. Although there's a couple of artists that I've seen that are really cool. I think it's a lot easier just to do it by hand. But only because I'm not familiar with the programs and I find it really frustrating to get started kind of thing. But you start drawing really late in life. I draw on the computer because it's the only way pixel art is drawn. How do they know you're not using ChatGPT to draw? They probably know. A lot of those things you got to do. You got to do them if you want it, because if you want to do them, because you can't expect other people to appreciate or pay you for what you think it's worth. If you just talk like, say I'm painting DVA armies, right? I had a guy a while ago, when I had probably 4 or 5 armies. The guy was from Miami, and he's like, we probably shouldn't take his money anyways, because it's probably up to something, but he's like, yeah, I'll pay you the double the going rate. And at the time, armies were unpainted, running about $35, $36, something like that. And then painted about $150. So the guy wanted to give me $300 worth. $300 to paint an army. An army that's going to take me, 4 hours a figure. 30 figures, you're basically paying me like $2 an hour. Like, I'm not going to do it, It's like I have nothing to show for it. You're better off, like, if you're going to make $300, just get a part-time job working at Circle K or something. I could make $300 working at Circle K for minimum wage a lot faster than I can painting a freaking army. It's not even close. You have a screen recording software going. Okay, I'll try to watch myself. Let's put this in here, even though we may end up adding gold to it. We need to kind of start somewhere with this. So what's different on with the drawing thing on chat than on the new one on chat? Is it significantly better? Like, can I make a better thumbnail with a couple Irish girls painting each other? That's what. Ooh, do I have a ding here? God bless it, I do. That's a pain in the butt. That's the first ding I've had. I have a cover on this thing, but that's the first ding I has, and it's not a problem because we've got one of those set it down there and replace it. It's just I don't want to go there tomorrow. The pay is so high, I don't even think it's worth that much. I also checked ChatGPT in the credits of a show my grandmother was watching called Marshalls. Your grandmother live with you, or not that there's anything wrong with that. It just, my grandmother's lived with me, Well, not with me, but growing up. You live with my grandmother. Why? She wants to watch Walking Dead or something like that. That'd be interesting if that was the case. No, my grandmothers would watch Price is Right. Nothing exciting there. The screen recording software was an answer to your question of how do they know I'm drawing. Oh, you have a screen recording software going when you're drawing. Got it. They're not Chinese, are you? You're not doing work for the fucking Chinese, are you? CC Paint. So I got this Wonder Woman car, right? And yesterday on the way to the baseball game, I asked it, come up with a name for a Gaslands car that's a Wonder Woman car for the Nerd Burglar team. All right, Wonder Woman plus Nerd Burglars gives you a fun mix of heroic comic book energy with, yeah, it's all the same, brown nose and me thing, right? Lasso of Boom, Amazon Annihilator, Bracelet Blockade, Themyscira Thrasher, Golden Lariat, Diana's Wrath. I didn't see anything on here that really is just called out to me. And I don't necessarily want it to be like Wonder Woman. I mean, it could be, I kind of want to remove where it says Wonder Woman and just turn this into like, something like Wonder Person or Woke Man or something like that. Something to make fun of that stuff. I want to keep the W so everybody goes, oh, it's Wonder Woman. No, it's actually Woke Person or whatever it is. It's not that, but something else. Wonder Wanker. Dark Age Spearmen sound cool. It seems to be able to do a lot more complex images. The image I showed you was very detailed and kind of a long prompt from a comic book script I wrote. Oh, you making those spearmen generic, or are you making them for a type thing? See, automatically when I think Dark Ages, I think of, okay, round shields, one of the Anglo-Saxon type things. But, you could be like Dark Ages and be, Byzantines. You could do Dark Ages and be, Sui Chinese, right? I'm sure that's not what it is, but... Hey, heck, they could be Normans and be, Wonder Gals Go-Go. Yeah. Wonder Wanker. Wondrous Wanker. Something like that. I don't know. It'll come to me what it is. But it's funny because I took all those ideas. I ended up coming up with Comic Kazi on my own. And I guess that was the most popular one. People like that. I guess it's full of nerds. I was never into comic books, so I'm like, okay. The only way comic books would work for me would be if they were choose your own adventure. But like, it's already been written. It's just up to you to like see it. That's why I don't really like TV programming. It's like, it's already been done. Wonder Woman. I don't remember seeing that as a kid. But man, she was one fine lady. Definitely. Definitely a 10. Wonder Wanker. Ryura LX. The heck is a Ryura other than this car? It's probably a make-believe car. Ryura LX. Shouldn't it be invisible? Ryura LX is not a real-life car. It's a Hot Wheels original design casting, often described as a slightly futuristic, full-size luxury sedan. It was designed by former Matchbox designer Ryu Asada as a premium-style muscular luxury sports sedan, frequently released on 1/64 scale with various colors. Looks like a futuristic, like if a Chrysler 300 and a Camaro had a baby. Something like that. And it was a breech birth. Dragon Rampant. Well, Lion Rampant's pretty decent. We played that a couple times with DBA armies. And then just couldn't plan our way out of a paper bag because nobody could tell us whether they were coming or not. Does that happen to all you all? The people that you play with just like can't plan their way out of a paper bag? Really frustrating. Maybe if people don't have a job or shit like that happens all the time, it wouldn't be so frustrating for those people. But I'm pretty intolerant of like bullshit that happens on a daily basis, every day at work, happening to me when I'm not at work. I'm pretty intolerant of that. I'm like, I'm not putting up with that. Like that was Wonder Wanker it is. Keep it up. This was the color that was like, it looked almost orange. It doesn't look that orange here. Brass rhymes with my ass. Oh yeah, it looks pretty good. Just a little bit of this hue on it. I think that's enough. I'm ever going to be painting something a bigger scale because it's easier to see, because I still have to wear readers, so I'm not really gaining anything. Oh, I didn't finish doing the taillights. I've got sidetracked. Well, I was kind of falling asleep there when you guys came on here. I was kind of like already like. So like with my World War II stuff, I had so much a 1/72nd scale that like I'm not starting over. And I like the scale that I like 1/72nd. And this is kind of 1/72nd also ish. It's not, but it is. You know, the figures that Creepy Hero prints, I think, are 72nd scale figures. Or 20 millimeter figures. You know? Even though these are technically 1/64th. And 1/64th ish. For instance, this is probably like 1/60th ish. Or maybe 1/59th or something like that. This is definitely over scale. So I learned that I care a lot because I put a lot of work into my games, but I can't expect everyone else to put that level of effort in, so I usually just play solo unless they bother me. One person can arrive intoxicated as well, which can ruin the entire game, so expectations are always near zero. A game intoxicated? You know, I know some people that drink a lot while they war game, and I'm not one of them. Because I've always had to do, like, you know, well, shit, I started playing wargaming, Sea Creek 4 range estimating. You can't be lit, or you're never going to hit anything, you know? And besides, I was a kid. I just never associated, having alcohol in gaming. Even a little. Even like, it's just not something I ever did. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm very pro alcohol. I never drink, So you've had a game where somebody has showed up trash and just ruined the experience. You play at any scale. I did Flames of War and Team Yankee, especially after they started making your M60 tanks. Your M60 tanks. Did your M60 tank have a name? Did they allow you to name them? I see where they've named like Abrams. But then they like use the same lettering that any other tank has. Like, well, that's no fun. You can't put like Mickey Mouse like you know skull fucking a camel or something like that. No, it's just basically no graphics. All right, I think we need to do black lining on this. Mickey Mouse skull fucking a camel. Hey, leave it to the crews would paint shit like that too. Dark tone. I would have done 15 millimeter if 15 millimeter was out at the time. Because they make lots of different 15 millimeter stuff. But at the time, the only 15 millimeter World War II that anybody made was Skytrex and Command Decision were getting together to put those Skytrex packs, and their vehicles and looked like dog shit. They were like not, you need straight edges on things that have straight edges. You can't be all like, you can't have tanks that look like this. Like all like soft edges and shit. You have a lot of small 28 millimeter armies for skirmish gaming. Your largest are for 1879 Anglo-Zulu Wars. This seems like it's one of those things that everybody want to play the Anglos. Now, I've played that a couple times, and I always play the natives. And we always get our ass beat. But I also don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I haven't played very many times. Actually, I don't know if I played Zulus. I've certainly played the Sudan. And I always played, the people in the Sudan. Not the Britishers. Because everybody's fighting over them. It's like... Oh, that's paint. Okay, well, that line will stick there. Man, why am I so tired? Is there any conflict, Derek, you would say, no, I ain't playing that. It's stupid. Is there any conflict you'd be like, I can't play that for, personal reasons, or it just doesn't interest you at all? Usually we painted the names on the bore evacuators. Usually the name starts with a letter of the company. When I was a battalion commander's tank, we were Headhunter. The bore evacuator. The hell is that? Bore evacuator M60 tank.
The M60 tanks.
Oh, don't shut your mouth. Okay. Distinct cylindrical bulge located halfway down. Okay, I know what that is. I didn't know that's what that was. Okay, like the little fat part. I had no idea that's what that was. Okay, so you painted in the midpoint on the barrel. Okay. When I was looking at the camouflage schemes to do a desert camo for that little thing I repainted, man, there's a lot of those 1970s type of camouflage. Well, you were here, as you talked about the having it, but man, some of those 1970s, early 80s like desert schemes would look really good. And they don't paint them. They don't paint them that way to look good. They paint them supposedly to be effective. Very important. It helps clear smoke before it belches back into the turret. Yeah, that would be bad. A belching main armament. Can't say I've ever had somebody come intoxicated to a game though and ruin it. Although I believe, I believe that would happen. That could happen. I don't want to. I don't want to run a game at a, especially of Gaslands. I don't want to run a game of Gaslands at like a game store. There's too many weirdos at game stores. People that don't know, people that don't know who their dad is, as I like to say. Cordite is unpleasant. I had grease in the holes of the bore evacuator. It was plugged. I got a lung full of smoke while loading. I remember that one trip we went to Historicon. Mitch and I went to the North Carolina and kind of filmed and had kind of a last minute video there, unintended. And yeah, there's some of those conditions those guys are working in that even if nothing went wrong, they would be just absolutely horrible. That turret seemed absolutely cramped. And that's not anything going wrong. Of course, that's one of the most dangerous places you could be on a battleship. All right, we need to bring this up one level. So let's do this one right here. Well, actually, we could probably paint the main color of this like this, some paint left over, because that'll help tie it into the actual color of the vehicle. He ruins a lot by being intoxicated. I don't know if I'm going to buy this house or if I'm going to move, but once I figure things out, I'll put more effort in with finding a better group. Oh, so you lived with this person. Oh. I don't understand addictions. I just don't understand, Let's say you like getting drunk, and getting drunk is fun, or getting intoxicated to the point where you can't drive, right? It's fun. But man, I just feel like intoxication's like to be able to put up with things that you wouldn't normally be difficult to put up with if you were sober. So like gaming, easy to do sober. Well, why do I need to drink? Work. Hey, it might be fun being intoxicated. Obviously, I can't be intoxicated at work, but I'm just saying, I see some room for improvement there. Yeah, it's people like that give, alcohol a bad name, Oh, I don't live with this person. He has his own place. He runs into the dirt. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how some people don't give a shit what environment they live in. I'm not OCD or anal retentive, but man, I'm telling you, when the house is picked up, I'm happy. You don't spend like, where the fuck did I leave this? Where did I leave it? Where did you have all these. You need to just throw shit away, man. You can't keep every piece of junk mail you get. You got to throw things away. You just create chaos. And you go around looking over the same thing, trying to like look past things that shouldn't be there. So it's like if you got a kitchen sink that has so much shit in it, man, you need to like deal with that. Because it's just like, that's usually the first thing that turns everything just to go south. Oh yeah, this is good. I'm going to run this. I drink less because of the saying, nothing good happens after midnight. I want to be able to assist and my family needs it. Yeah, no, I understand that. You don't need to be in a situation. I've gotten to the point where I'm gotten really good at drinking. What I mean is like I've had a beer with you guys here or a drink. I don't have a buzz. You know, that's not the point. You know, that's not the, you know. And yeah, if somebody breaks in the house, you need to be able to shoot them. No, fortunately, I don't live in. It could happen anywhere. Well, we have too many nosy people here. You know, the advantage of nosy people is they're usually, you know, get all up in stuff. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You know, like, you know, if you got your daughter that goes out or something like that, and she has car trouble, and you sit at home with a wife and get trashed. Like, let me give you an example. I'm not going to mention any names here, but there was this girl that I used to date before my wife, and her parents were previously divorced, so they remarried and they each had kids. Not a ton. I think they each had like two or something like that, and I don't know how old they were. Maybe early 50s or something like that. And they would drink a lot. And they would get to the point where it's like, I don't want to ever be in a situation where I have to call my kid up to give me a ride. I think it's fucking irresponsible. You know, it's just stupid. It makes you look like it makes you look like the parents on the Disney Channel shows, right? And the Disney Channel shows, the kids are brilliant. They have all the answers. They're smart. They don't make any decisions. The parents are always idiots. Well, the parents are the ones fucking paying the bills. So if the kid wants to step up, genius, how about paying some of the bills? You know, it's always like, well, that's just kind of silly. That's not how things are. Well, some people it is. So you shouldn't be having to call your kids to give you a damn ride because you didn't plan accordingly. You know, or like, for instance, they would, what was the other thing that they would do? Oh, they would have like a Harley and a boat and all that stuff, but then they couldn't send their kid to college. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, you know, why have kids if you can't help them out, you know? I'm not saying you got to give them everything, but, you know, you got to give them a leg up. Your eldest is still at work. She's closing tonight. Yeah, I'm going to see the daughter on Friday. And then I really don't like her driving on the interstate by herself. And I'm not even talking about, you know, nefarious shit happening. I just mean like just traffic. So instead of having her meet where we're going to go, I'm going to go down past where we're going to grab her and bring her back. It's just peace of mind. I don't have to worry about it, you know. I mean, she's a great kid, but, you know, there's lots of bad people in the world. Let's not talk about shitty parents. Let's not. I've been reading through that end guard so far. The only parts I'm confused on is the campaigns. Well, we just have to sit down and play it. There's got to be something on YouTube on it. I would think. I mean, that game's been around a long time, and it has been, and it is. I think it's held in a very favorable light. I think. I'm glad I ran my mouth and you found out about it. Does it still sound good, or just like? How big are y'all's interstate? It's a nightmare. I swear, when they added the third lane in each direction, the traffic got worse. It's like, oh, I want to be over here. Oh, I want to be... And it's like you can either be in the fast lane or light lane. Oh, but there's a third middle lane. Oh, what's it feel like over here? Like, dude, I just want to use cruise control. I just want to go like, you know, what's the speed limit? 70? 73, 74, leave the cruise control on, right? And then like dodge people. Okay, that guy's... You can't do that anymore. You know, you can't... You gotta like drive like, I wouldn't even say defensive. You gotta like drive like, look out for that guy. That guy's trouble. Get away from me. You know? Now lately what's happened, there's been a lot of trucks that are slinging shit. whether it's rocks. So like I avoid to get around, because the last thing you need is, get something dinged up on your car. Oh, this is looking good. I hate getting on the interstate. There's this one stretch through these two cities. The one I used to live in and the next one south. Between Gainesville and Ocala is just where the turnpike hits. It's always something. It's always something. And I swear it's because between people being on drugs and people surfing on their damn phone, distracted by the phone. And the worse people drive, the less I'm likely to allow myself to be distracted. There's like one video on YouTube I could find. Unfortunately, it's a very common name. There's multiple video and board. It is a very common name. Yeah, and I think Osprey came up with some like sword fighting rules that are called On Guard, and that's not it. I think that's not it. I didn't know that was a bore evacuator. It's an educational show. Didn't mean to trigger you about the parents thing. There's always stuff to trigger somebody. I get triggered with like not having a car. Like no, I spent too much time not having a car while everybody around me had one. Fuck you, I'm driving. Oh man, what are we gonna turn into this light? I don't know if I could use AI for that. How would you? Yeah, I don't think. I think. Let's just do them all red for now. Let's do them all red for now. I have two separate rules called On Guard. One is Osprey. Yeah. Osprey On Guard videos are popular. So is one video game with the same name. On Guard RPG will get you one video of the right game. Yeah, it's Frank Chadwick too. He was kind of the gold standard of games when I was growing up. There was a lot of Frank Chadwick games. The Micro Armor rules we played were his. He made that one board game that's probably the worst board game I've ever played in my entire life. Not because it was him, it was just absolutely dog shit. That's not fair to dog shit, actually. And it was called, I don't know what it's called. Soldier King, I think is what it's called. I mean, a melted asshole looked better than that game. The problem with Osprey rules is they look too nice. And I am a bit of a... I worry about damaging books. I really do. I do not like to mistreat books. And my wife gets on me. You need to, read it and take... I'm like, I don't like putting a ding on it. And, I'm being careful. The books are too damn nice. If you're going to try to find people to play with locally, you probably do need to play, something that's readily available. Because, there's some people that are like, well, that's, nobody's playing that, so I'm not going to play it. Well, at some point, somebody's got to be the first person. Somebody's got to take one for the team. Men of Bronze. Sounds like the Iliad. What the dendra is going on here? You'll abuse a book like a redheaded stepchild. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it. It bugs me. Now my first DBA set of rules, I still have it. It got abused because it is pre having the internet on your phone. So that means when you thought about something, I used to bring my backpack with me and it stayed in the car. So anytime I wanted to read something, I had that set of rules, the 2.2 rules. And I'd always have it in there. And then one day, it rained or something, and I set my backpack somewhere that was wet, and the absorption. I think at the time period, I had a JanSport backpack, and that was one of the ones that had like the leather bottom or whatever, and it got wet, and the moisture absorbed through it and creeped up into the paper, so the rule book ended up like being like falling apart. I mean, it's still usable, but, and then I'm like, okay, well, I'm all right with that one, but, yeah, the 2.2 rules. Which some people still play. Some people claim to play the 1.1. I'm like, okay, dinosaur. I hate how difficult it is to fucking conform in that game. It just should be easy. It's not. No. And some counterintuitive stuff. I'm not into counterintuitive anything. This doesn't make sense. Well, then it shouldn't be. I tried to find the soundtrack, as I found my CDs. Not that I've listened to any of them in 20 years. That's probably fair. I probably haven't listened to them in 20 years. Maybe 15. And I swore I had a CD that came with Interstate 76 with the music. But I found it on, somebody has it on their YouTube channel or whatever. Just remembered it. I'm like, let me listen to that. I remember really liking that game. Probably wouldn't be able to play it now. I'm not much of a retro gamer, especially if it looks like blurry and shit. Our Gaslands author recently did Pacific Command that primarily uses poker chips. It's hidden movement and bluffing. I've heard not good things about it. Somebody told me, it's Jeffrey, I think. Jeffrey said I wouldn't like it. First of all, I wouldn't want a rule set that's only for the Pacific. And I prefer, if we're going to do World War II, I'm doing Atlantic or Mediterranean. I'm not opposed to doing Pacific. It's just not my first choice. It's my third choice. Well, I'm super anal retentive about naval shit. I don't want it to be like, well, it's kind of like this. I'm like, no. I mean, if I got into naval stuff again, what I'd probably do is take Sea Creed 4 and modify it as I needed to. It's a really good base. I know it really well. It makes sense. I'm sure I've played Sea Creed 5. It's great. I have the set of rules. It's just, I don't, Joe knows how to run it. It's a fine game. I just don't want to play a game that you can't finish. And I'm patient. It's not like we need to be done in 2 hours. Like, I can handle an 8-hour game, you know? It's not like we need to be over in like no time. We played one naval game for 26 hours straight, and it was still inconclusive. Now, we played a lot of turns. It's not like, we played like 52 turns or some shit like that. It was a lot. And it wasn't like nothing happened. Well, it's funny that the last day that I filmed in the garage, it was the last day the lights worked. And I ended up replacing them with lights. I think it happened on Sunday. I brought that up. And I got like the most powerful lights that they made, that weren't a ridiculous amount. It was like 50,000 lumens or something like that. And I got it, and my wife swears it's brighter than it was before, but I think it was always that bright anyways. But, whatever. I don't think I'm going to buy two other lamps to put on there. I think we're fine with that strength. I don't want to burn the fucking house down either. I was so worried about installing them, I put on some body cavity search gloves so I wouldn't get any like oils from my hand in there, and then like have it cook. Because when I took the other set down, it was like covered in like little flies, like where they had gotten close to that and gone, and zapped. Because the garage opens and they come inside and they're little. I mean, they're like no seams. Just don't want it pink, but just a little bit like it's dormant. Okay. I gotta use little boy's room. I'll be right back. Well, I know this one case, the one case that I got is getting pretty full. I think we just figured out that was my 92nd or 93rd vehicle I just did. The Marvel car. You know, you don't need. All right, Hoffman. I don't. You know, you don't need this many cars to play, but it's like, it's fun to do. You know. I already have them. I already went and bought them. I could say I'm definitely doing better than probably most people. Like, sure, I got a backlog, but it's fine. We're kicking some ass with it. Which one of these is the black? Is it this one? Yeah. Let's put these door handles in chrome. I like for the door handles to stand out. But yeah, I don't want to play with people in a public setting where it's like, hey, I'm going to put on this game and somebody shows up that wants to dress like a unicorn. And I don't want to deal with that shit, you know? This is a Tony's Derek daycare. You know, I was raised that, you know, if like you didn't, or the people that don't go to work, they sit all day and they game. I was raised that, you know, if you didn't go to work, you didn't have anything. You know, like, you want a car, you better go to work. Not like, well, I'll just sit at home and, I play video. I mean, you wouldn't have a computer to play video games. Like, how are you going to afford the internet if you just sit at home, you know? Talk about a backlog. I've been off for 6 weeks with no finished products. Oh, man. You haven't gotten anything done? Ay, Dios mío. Wow. Well, hopefully you didn't buy anything. Yikes. Here's the thing. If you bought 1,000 of these cars, it ain't that much money. It's like you buy Warhammer stuff. Let's use an extreme example. My backlog is only about, 300 something. And they take up a lot of space. 300. It's not like they're all in one bag. And they're just, I got them stored in different things. And, they take up some real estate. So, man, having too many of these, like, look, if I snapped my fingers and all these were done, I still have that backlog. So it's like, the good news is I can probably build 100 more and I got space to put them. Then after that, the tank's going to have to start hiding. I don't see any point where I'm going to stop building these at any point. This is working really well for me to, I don't give a fuck if we even play this game. It doesn't really matter, I'm not going to play this game and it'd be really inconvenient for me. So, some people are like, man, I gotta play, and they don't paint anything. I'm like, I'd rather paint stuff and never play. But that's me. I'm probably the exception. It's not like I don't get to play games just because I don't play face-to-face games with people. Then that would be a problem. But... We don't want this to be completely gold. We want there to be some kind of, and we still got to do a wash over it. So, by the way, I had to correct my response. You were asking me about the mesh. The mesh is actually not Creepy Hero Studios. It's Switchyard. Switchyard is the first person I ordered from. They were on Etsy. They both make really good stuff. Just Switchyard, for everything Switchyard has, Creepy Hero has like 6 things. So I've ordered from Switchyard twice and from Creepy Hero twice. And Switchyard makes some things that Creepy Hero doesn't, and one of them happens to be that mesh, which is freaking awesome. I haven't been as well as I should have been. I'm just now back into my game. The missus has got plenty of housework out of me though. Well, the housework isn't so bad as long as you don't spend like a whole day doing housework. I like to mix it up. Oh man. Oh, it looks like she just left. Hold on 1 second. You also help your youngest move into her new house. All right. I need to go switch some clothes. Apparently, I will be. I'll be right back. Oh, I actually did go the other day and did pick up a new car. I found out this was an exclusive for Dollar General because there's no logos up here. It doesn't say like, what type. Actually, it looks like it's a different type car too. It's actually kind of thin or whatever. But I got a 920. I have a 928 in red. I remember when this car came out, man. It was a hot car. It was a hot car. I have one of these in red, so now we have a gold one. Some Baron von Goldschlieben or something like that. Hey, I built 4 cars, bought one. It wasn't yesterday. It was like yesterday, I think, or the day before, or something like that. So, yeah, moving. I can't think of anything worse than moving. Well, within reason, obviously. What about a Mexican prison? Okay, I mean within reason. Because it's not just the work. It's like, okay, what do I do next? I don't know. It's not for me. For me, it's not work. It's like, fuck. What do we do next? It's that kind of mental torture that drives me crazy. All right, it's time to put some weathering on here. The old chocolate brown, U.S. field drab. And a rocky sand. Nope, that's dark sand. Nope, that's not it either. There we go. Yeah, I don't do well if I have too many different things going on. I just get distracted easy, and it's unsatisfying. It's unsatisfying to have a bunch of shit going on. I don't like doing stuff like that at work. I'll make like a list, like let's cross things off, Let's feel good about crossing things off, and like we don't have to worry about this again. Why? Because you knocked it out. I generally, if I know that I'm not going to be able to finish something, I don't like to start it. It's like, why? There's something else I can start and finish instead. We'll finalize what this thing's name is in the morning. When I take pictures. I won't take pictures of it today. It's not a great build, but it's like I got this basketball car. I think Marty may have given me this one. I don't know. Or I might have picked it up at the used place for the Urban Brotherhood. That's just going to get this car. DJ Magic Basketball. Double dribble. Double dribble just doesn't sound aggressive enough. Basketball Jones. Am I supposed to understand that one? Instead of Barnaby Jones? What the hell's Barnaby Jones? Like a show? Quincy, no, Quincy's a show. Barnaby Jones. What the fuck is Barnaby Jones? There was an old pizza shop in Tallahassee that I remember as being a little kid. I remember I didn't live in Tallahassee after I was 6 years old. So we're like really little kid. That was called Barnaby's, and it was that pizza had a very distinct. Just closed down like a couple years ago, and I don't remember. Pizza had a very distinct taste to it, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It was just like nothing else, or at least at the time. But the last time I went back as an adult. I wasn't super impressed, and it's not really a town that I travel too much, and it's one of those places that will only take cash. I'm like, that's the places I say, fuck you. I mean, you could pay me in PayPal, Well, the credit card companies will pass it on to the people. Like, okay, they charge 10%, so go up for 10% for everybody. And if you pay cash, you make even more money off those people. You know? I mean, how many times you've been to a restaurant and it's like, oh, this is the price. But if you pay by credit card, it costs this 3% more. And you're like, fuck you, I'm not going to this place, right? But if they just raised it that and not tell you. Cheech and Chong song. I can't say I've seen Cheech and Chong anything. I'm not a fan of drug humor. What was that movie that show that everybody liked? Everybody thought Super Troopers. I start watching it with the wife. It's like all pot stuff. I'm like, I don't want to watch this. You know, does not compute. I don't want to watch drug shows. I want like shows that involve like killing. Yeah, I can't. I haven't seen Cheech and Chong anything. I don't think I don't even know what the Chong guy looks like. Cheech has worked his way in all kinds of different things, and he just shows up as like, oh, it's a little Mexican Napoleon bald-headed dude. Yeah, okay, got it. That's who he is. I don't know any of his, I don't know any of his shtick. California stuff, Barnaby Jones sounds familiar, though. I mean, like, it's maybe the two names just go together. I don't know. But yeah, I don't want to play this game in some public setting. Oh, that name's offensive. I said, we're here to make fun of everyone and everything. That's how I was raised. You don't like it, we don't need to play together. I don't hate you or anything because you're a certain way, but we're gonna find humor in everything. Almost everything. And some people can't take that. And there's a whole flock of them that live in that town just south of me. Okay, I think that's enough. I don't want to go crazy on the weathering. Crazy! Let's get... can we flip this thing safely? Probably not. Oh. I was dealing with a whole lot of people at work yesterday, or customers, or people on the receiving end of the stuff that I'm sending out that seemed like they were celebrated way too much on Monday. Definitely, people had a case of the not thinking rights. So a little bit of a strong tone here to darken this up a little bit. Oh, okay. That's who Buddy Ebsen is. Well, I would have never. 73 to 80. That is long running. I'm I don't remember. You thought I would have thought about it, Well, in '80 I was 9 years old, so I'm not watching something serious like that. And police detective stuff. The only one of those police detective things that I liked, and I never finished watching it, was The Shield. I watched like 4 or 5 seasons of it. I want to say 4. And I thought it was pretty decent considering I don't really watch police stuff. Now, obviously the fact that he's dirty is the whole reason to watch the damn thing. You don't know what's going to happen. But I thought it was alright. Basketball Jones cartoon mocked up Peter Sellers film Being There. Going back to, you can wait too long to see something and it doesn't have the right effect. You said Peter Sellers. Dr. Strangelove. I saw that in the last 2 years for the first time. And everybody would recommend it to me. Yeah, so now my repertoire of seeing black and white movies, I think, has gone up to like 7. I think I've seen 7 black and white movies. I don't know what they are. I don't know if that's correct. Well, let's see. Does Schindler's List count? Schindler's List, right? Maltese Falcon. The one I just mentioned with Peter Sellers, Dr. Strangelove. So we're up to 3. What else have I seen? Maybe 4 more. The one with John Wayne and the Pacific one where John Wayne and whatchamacallit's in it and Kirk Douglas is in it. In Harm's Way. That's what, number 4? Yeah, I black and white turns me off. I mean, I watched black and white shows because I didn't have a fucking choice. Because that's what was on when I was a kid. But if there's anything other than that, I'll watch anything other than that. I can't stand black and white shit. I have no problem with foreign movies. In some ways, I prefer them. But black and white, nope. Oh, Saint to Bismarck. That's number 5. Saint to Bismarck is black and white. Shame. A shame, really. I remember I had some great aunts in Miami that when we went to go visit them, they had this black and white TV. It must have been like the early 80s. And they had this black and white TV that I remember was really, really small. It was, the screen was very small, probably the size of my computer screen. And it was white, and it was black and white TV only. It was white and had graphics on it. Like Spirit of 76 type graphics. Like 1976 bicentennial stuff on the TV. I remember that. Like on the outside of it. Maybe it was buff color or light buff or something like that. But I remember that. And it was color programmed and it came in black and white. Like that's just, But you're a kid. Like it's either that or you don't watch anything. It's like I remember we were taking, and I don't remember when it was, but when we would travel, we'd sometimes stay in these hotels that had, you had to put quarters in the TV to watch it. And, yeah, those things sucked. Sometimes they were black and white. I think frequently they were black and white. God damn it, I'm not that old, but, Best years of our lives for a post-World War II. Is it black and white? Because I'm not going to see it. I really don't want to see a black and white movie. I'm sure there's some Hitchcock things that I've seen that are black and white. Isn't The Birds black and white or something like that? Something. But it bothers me less if I'm watching something black and white in the time period where there's no color. Like, I don't gripe about the Three Stooges being in black and white because that's all there was, right? But, I don't want to watch something from like 1964 in black and white. It's like, come on. Was already color back then. That was really expensive. I said, yeah, well, you made some shitty things that were in. Oh, I'm pretty sure I've seen Some Like It Hot. That's black and white, isn't it? I think so. Yeah, I'm like, it's under 10 movies for sure. And I'm also spoiled because a lot of the movies that I saw that were older movies are all in color. Like stuff like Ben-Hur. Ben-Hur's in color. Stuff of that time period. Like, it's in color. I mean, it costs a fortune, but that's the movies that you see. Hard to watch that movie for free, by the way. Ben-Hur, I'm talking about. I don't think my daughter. I don't think I've gotten a chance to show it to my daughter. Cool movie. Hey, we need 10,000 people in this scene. Cool, hire them. Oh, Gunga Din. Gunga Din's black and white. Seen that. What are we up to? 7? It's probably close to 10. So there was, I remember a long time ago, I saw this post on the miniatures page. Back when I used to go on the miniatures page religiously every morning. And this guy had done a bunch of World War II stuff. And it was all done in black, like it was in black and white. So, like, series of grays. So you look at the photo and you're like, that's miniatures. And he painted them in grayscale. I'm like, that's a waste of time. I would never do that. Ernest Borgnine won an Oscar for Marty. I Remember Mama. If I could remake a World War II film, Kind Hearts and Coronets. I've always wanted to see the one that Kirk Douglas is in, where he plays a French officer in World War One. I don't remember what it's called, and it has good reviews. But it's black and white. But oh, Sergeant York. God, I hated that movie. Now, if I watched it now, I might like it. It's unlikely. But, man, I remember seeing that movie when I was like 19 years old. I hated that movie. Sorry. If I remember, it was like too much of a damn revival. What's that, 8? Something like that. And I thought it was absolutely moronic. I don't care what your reasoning is. I think it was moronic to have done Schindler's List not in color. It's moronic. Because I remember seeing that one miniseries when I was like 18 years old, and it was like concentration camp stuff, and it was in color, and it's frightening. Now, I've caught it since then, and, I'm not 18 years old everywhere, but I mean, that's... It hits a lot. It hits different when it's in color. Especially if it's something you've seen many times in black and white. Great comedies, Harvey and Arsenic and Old Lace, they need to be black and white. Call me spoiled. That's one thing I can't seem to do. But I didn't like it when I was a kid. It's not like all of a sudden, now all of a sudden you don't like them. No, I didn't like it as a kid. Paths of Glory, that's the one. Yeah, that's got really good reviews. It's an anti-war movie. Well, every war movie really should be an anti-war movie. Think about it. It's horrible. We just think it's cool because we get to make kind of decisions with our freaking things, but war's horrible. Young Frankenstein, never seen it because it's black and white. I know, and everybody loves that movie. It's probably too late for me to see it. Probably won't appreciate it. Mel Brooks, right? Yeah, that's not a guarantee I would like it. I mean, whatchamacallit is hilarious. Blazing Saddles is hilarious. But I tried to watch it with my daughter, put some hair on her chest. And it was really slow. It was really slow in parts, and she lost interest. So. Okay, this looks pretty damn good. So as we need to finalize the name. I think it looks pretty damn good. Again, you start putting all these parts and they're all these different colors, your eye goes, this doesn't look right to me, You need to kind of tie it in so it's all like, got a theme going on. I mean, you already have purple windows. You can't have purple here, purple there, and purple everywhere. It doesn't, it doesn't really go with the look of it. So, all right, folks, thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm not sure when that is. It won't be tomorrow night, likely. And it definitely won't be Friday because I won't be here. And Saturday, it'll probably be Saturday. And I'll try to take some videos if I go to some cool places, some cool shops, even if they're not like, I don't think I've taken a video of that guy of the Vintage Toy King. He's got a really cool store. But, all right, folks, we'll see you.